Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And for our video in today's Stone Timber is a CHIPPI review of Tapestry, which is possibly crazy because in 2021 it was 2 of our top 100 game of all time, or top 50 game of all time. Top game of all time.
3, wasn't it? In 2000.
Was it yours?
It was
I
in
thought
my top
Cartog-
50.
Well, it was in
Well,
your top 50.
That's what you
Top
said.
game. Did I say
It
top
was.
50? I meant top game.
Okay.
Yes, it was R2 number 1 and her number 2.
Yes.
Couldn't quite make it a 3-way crossover, but she tried.
Right. And then you'll have to go check out 2022's top 10 of all time. See if it
retained.
See if it retained up there, if it fell down, but maybe you'll be able to tell by our
needs a
CHIPPI
belt.
rating, CHIPPI ratings right now.
We do actually have a little championship belt right there.
We do.
Maybe like,
It could have the
how is he ready for that?
European champion, Euro Game Championship. But yes, that we can just get right into it. We've got a lot of other content on Tapestry, so
Yeah.
check those out, and we've done some tap talks
Yes.
as well. So it is one of our top games. Preface it that it's one of our top games, and there may be group think sort of. So
Group think?
I think there are people that don't like
Oh.
Tapestry that much, so
Okay.
it could be one that's not for others.
Okay.
But we will get right into the core mechanisms. And I'm just going to start off with a 10.
Surprise.
That's all I got to
surprise.
say. No. This game was kind of branded as a civilization game. I'd never played one before, so I was really excited, especially since this had come after it was the next game that Stonemaier Games published after Wingspan, which was at the time my probably favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
So
I
I was
remember
really
when you-
excited.
I remember when it was like announced or whatever, and you were like, "Yeah, so that designer has like a new game coming out." He's like, "I'm gonna back it, I think, but it's like kind of expensive." And
It'll be a different designer, same publisher.
yeah, publisher, whatever. Synonymous for me. And you were like,
Elizabeth Hargrave
you were like-
designed
He's gonna
Wingspan.
point it out every time.
I know he is, because he's
Well,
like,
we gotta
one
give-
of these days,
you gotta give
she's gonna
Elizabeth-
learn.
you
She's
gotta-
gonna learn.
you gotta give
That's
Elizabeth
right.
the credit.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. That's right. But I just
Jamie
remember-
can't take all the credit.
You were
He can't have
so-
all the good games.
Yeah. Well, you were so excited
I was excited.
to have one, so it's just, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm glad
so
it lived up.
anyway, going into that, I don't know. I still haven't played any other ones, but a lot of people say it is not a civilization game, and I think I could see that now that I've played it. So if you're going into it for that, I don't know that it's a 10. But for what the game actually is, which is tracks, tracks the game, going up on 4 different tracks, and then if you have the expansion, there's another one added. I just really like how each of those tracks feels unique, and that you get certain types of benefits from each one that kind of get better and better as you go up on those tracks. I think it almost always feels like they're better. There might be some that are later on certain tracks that you'd like to just skip if you could, but I think they all work kind of well together. There are some that seem to go better than others, but I think there's games that you can play that you can get certain tracks that maybe don't always go well together to actually work, which I find really unique. And then you've got Civilizations, which kind of sets you up, kind of variable player power in a way from the very beginning, which I always like in games. And I think those all feel pretty different. Some definitely feel better than others. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much to this game that it's hard to describe. I'll let you guys maybe describe some other things. Otherwise, I'm going to go on forever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I gave the core mechanics a 9. So I think they're really great. There are just a couple.
We'll let that slide.
Yeah.
But you flip that over to a 6, and you're in trouble.
I think there are just a couple of things that I find difficult. I think, there are stronger civilizations than others. I know that's something that gets dinged a lot, but they just aren't all made equal. So it's both kind of a good and a bad thing because you can kind of use them, hopefully to your advantage no matter what they are. And they kind of give you purpose and, drive kind of in those first couple of moves to start making things. I also just struggle a little bit with like the luck factor of what tapestry cards you get. Luck is the thing in any game, but in this one I just feel like it's hard when you get one tapestry card or two tapestry cards to start out with and neither of them set you up because you only get to lay 3. There's only 4 or 5 rounds to the game, and so there's more turns inside the rounds, but I just think that those are a little rough. And then otherwise, I think the tracks are great. I think they actually are. It took me a while to figure out the science track, but I feel like all of the tracks are pretty balanced. I certainly have favorite tracks that I like to go up and a track I don't like to go up very much, but I should challenge myself one of these times and actually try to go up on that baby because everybody else seems to do it, and that seems to work out really well for them. But I just think it's great. Like, you get to build your capital city, you're taking off a map, I don't know, it's just all these things combined just come together, I think, really well. So
Yeah, I'm giving it a 10.
Shocking.
Pretty much everything that was covered, all the civilizations and unique abilities and moving up tracks, which doesn't sound exciting, but all the spots on there are very well laid out. I guess we'll cover that later, but just there's so many benefits in the game. You move up a track, it feels satisfying to move towards those greater benefits. You get the benefits, which could
if
be...
they don't steal them from you.
That's true. I did steal a landmark on the very first turn of the game, the last one we played, so there is a little take that, which I'm fine with. That's usually me taking.
It's not too much.
Yeah.
But it's just like the most rewarding game that I've played. You move up a track, possibly gain a landmark. You gain some buildings, take them off your income mat. They'll produce you more stuff. They'll fill your capital city, which will get you points and will get you resources. It's just so satisfying every single move. It seems.
Yeah, everything kind of flows and works together so smooth. It's honestly incredible. There could probably, I think it has always worked for us. The rule book is only like 4 pages long, which is shocking to me that it's still, there's probably edge cases and stuff that aren't explained as well in that case then, but for how much is actually going on and whatnot, the fact that you can get that in that small of a rule book and it all, or a majority of it, will make sense and it all flows so smoothly, I just find that incredible that you can put that many things together and still have it all work together. Yeah, like you guys said, I love the polyomino mat as well. That's a fun little thing that you could have just had those kind of removed. Kind of your income buildings and just gotten better, really not done anything with them, but I like that they added that capital city mat portion as well, just for some extra points. This is a game where you can score a lot of points, which is also fun. And it's also an efficiency puzzle, which is something I like. If you like games like Terraforming Mars and stuff where you can kind of keep taking turns as long as you have things to spend. I really like those types of games, so if you like those, I think this one has that.
Yeah. And it's a game that all of us have played at least 10 times. So with our history,
all around.
Our history is at least a 10.
Yes.
But then we get into investment. Whoever wants to take it.
Matt can take it.
Oh, okay. Investment. So I said this was a 9. I think setup is a little bit tedious, but it's okay.
Yeah, put all the landmarks on their spots.
Yep. It's kind of just a big one, but I do think there is a lot of a lot of replayability in it. I have started to feel like I'm tipping maybe off the other side of it now, where I feel like the tracks are always the same kind of a thing, and so I'm starting to kind of be like, well, it's always the same track, and so I'm like, how does that play with the different civilizations? Is that enough? I don't know, kind of a thing. And so other than that, though, I feel like it's got, great replayability. It's got really interesting pieces. The insert is amazing on it. It's just, there's a lot of great things about this game, and I'm sure you two will cover them. So I'll try not to be long-winded so that you guys can rave a little.
For investment, I have a 9.25 here. There is some setup, and it does take time to play, but it's actually, for how big it is, it doesn't feel like it's a long game. It is probably a long game, but I don't ever feel like, oh, this is really going on a long time. Always enjoyed every play that I've had of it, pretty much throughout. And for investment, just the replayability with 31 at this point with the expansions, civilizations, and all the different Tapestry cards, which factor into that immensely. All the replayability and what you can do with your civilization just skyrockets the investment for me.
Yeah, I'm coming in at a 10 for investment, because I think there's tons of replayability, like you said. I think because especially if you do have the expansions, because there are so many Tapestry cards and so many civilizations, I think the tracks almost do have to stay the same and stay simple, just so that the rest of it can kind of be ever changing from game to game. But yeah, I can see how you could get in a position where you could be unlucky with things and you get to a point where you just know you have no chance of winning, and then I could see the game could drag on a little bit. But yeah, like you said, I've never felt like
that's
it's ever
because
gone on
you two
too long.
are always the one who drag on at the end. Like, you're never the one who isn't in contention for the win, and so you're out a half an hour before you two at the table. So it'd be interesting to see what you thought if you were ever that person who was the odd man
I was
out.
thinking that when I said that. I'm like, well, I know I've noticed other players maybe not being so happy with the extending of the game.
Yeah, I do like you get a little bit more. It's not really that much interaction, but you get a little bit more going on when you have a 4 or 5 player game. But then at the same time, I would say that would be the only time where I could see it be feeling long. I'd still give it a 10 because it is one that, even though it is long at that, I still want to play it. So that just, to me, shows how much I really, really enjoy the game, because there's a lot of games that if it went on as long as this at 4 or 5 players, I just would not want to play it at all at those player counts. Just stay at 2 to 3. I do prefer it at 2 to 3, but it is one that I'm willing to go out there and play it for close to 3 hours at a 5 player count or whatever it is, maybe even longer than that.
Yeah,
depending on how well people know the game. But yeah, it is crazy though too, because turns are so snappy.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Income turns can.
Yeah, the income turns can take a while.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time, I guess it depends what your civilization does in your Tapestry card, but you could almost have the next player go in that case.
Yep.
I think you just have to kind of know, if you know you're not going to do anything that's going to affect any tracks or any other players, then you just let them go while you're finishing up your income. But I think you just kind of have to know the game enough to know when you can do that and when, like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have let you go yet because I need to do something first.
And the mental investment of resource management, that's a thing in a game where it can kind of just, hurt the brain trying to think moves ahead, which you definitely have to do in Tapestry. But just kind of the minimal cost for all the spots on the board. There's nothing more than 3 resources. And just the way you track your resources on the bottom of your Civ, it just is so easy to grasp, and I can easily think what resources I'm going to need and if I'm going to be able to do all the moves that I want to do for the next 5 turns. It's something that I really appreciate.
Mhm.
It just clicks in my brain. I don't find myself
agree.
thinking, so what am I going to need? Am I going to have this?
I agree.
It just works.
There are some of those when you get out, when you're thinking too many turns, once you start getting too far out there, there are some that's like, okay, well, at that point, I don't know, I'll maybe be one short or have one, just depending on if something else happens in the game. But at that point, sometimes you just take those kind of risks, knowing if you know the game more, I might be able to get a resource here or there. But I find that fun too. But yeah, then we get into presentation.
Presentation, I have. Wait a minute. I'm mixing up my P's like you. I'm trying to find.
First P.
I have all the Stonemaier Games. CHIPPI's here, so I'm trying to find Tapestry. Okay.
That looks so chaotic.
It is chaotic.
I can't
You got a
even,
spreadsheet.
I don't even know what he's looking at.
He's a madman. Mad for tap. I have a 9 for presentation here. What? It used to be a 10, but other games have come along.
Wow.
And it's still a 9, and it's a fantastic production.
Not even like he didn't even split hairs. Not a 9.25. Not
Where's
a
a 9.5, 9.75?
9.22.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's got the great miniatures. I'm gonna stay positive here. It's got the great miniatures. It's got a great insert. It's got a great frosted boards, which are phenomenal. I love all the player pieces and the player colors. You got Bone, which is one of our favorites ever since we heard it called Bone. But yeah, it's just the art. I like Andrew Bosley's art, but it's not like phenomenal for me. Just kind of the color scheme and kind of the greenish yellow type look to the game I'm not like in love with, but it's not bad. It's just I'm not in love with it, and I think that's kind of one of the things that kind of keeps it from being a 10 for me.
Well, I did give it a 10. I just think it's beautifully put together. I think the minis are amazing. The frosted boards, like there's just an extra layer of production that they didn't have to do, but they chose to do, and I think that speaks volumes to the game itself, because I think it was worth it. Like there's a lot of games where you just get a flimsy player board and lay on it, try and keep your stuff there, or place it in the certain spots, but this one like really just went. I think that you're right. There are other games that I think probably do have a higher production, but I think that leads to the question of, was it overproduced then? Kind of a thing.
I mean, that accusation has been thrown at this game.
Really? But see, it's so much more fun than if you just use little cardboard circles or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was well worth it, and I think a really great and essential piece of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming in at a 10. I'm a little surprised, Pepper, because I would think, outside of the people that do say it's overproduced, but I feel like those people could say that about a lot of the best-looking games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Almost all of them you could say are overproduced.
Yeah.
Because then otherwise it just comes down to what has the best artwork. Because
Yeah.
if everything just was as cheaply produced as possible, it'd just all be cardboard, and it'd just be whoever did the best artwork and flow. Yeah. But yeah, I find it. I really enjoy all the things that have been mentioned. I really like the artwork. I think all the civilization. Just when I see them, I think they look really cool.
Yep.
And I just like that the look of the technology cards and the tapestry cards.
Yeah,
I think
the
that
iconography on everything is phenomenal. They have all like 48 or 60 now with the extra track, different spots, and there are some that are a little harder to recognize, but most of them you can just look at them from across the table, upside down, and know what that action does.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, I would say, I don't know if there's anything, I don't know that I can think of anything that I don't like in it, production-wise.
Okay. Well, don't rack your brain trying to...
I don't know. I don't think there is anything. I guess the only thing maybe would be some of the tiles that you put out. Some of them have like a center island piece that isn't actually like a land piece that's connected. It's just surrounded by water.
Oh, yeah.
But then it is a color. Like it might, if it was mountains, it's kind of got the gray look to it in the center. So it almost looks like it has pieces of a mountain on it. Or, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like or almost all of the ones that have the blue outer ring
Yeah.
have some sort of island in there, but it doesn't actually connect to anything. It's just an island, so it's all water sides. I don't know how you change that, but I just sometimes I'm like, maybe I need to connect a mountain piece or a grassland piece, and I see, it's got some. Oh wait, no, that's just an island in the center.
It's never crossed my mind.
It did this last.
It did this to me.
It did this last game because I had the treasure hunters where you had to put it on a specific land mass type, and I had one of the island ones that I thought when I first looked at it that it was a mountain type, but it wasn't. So, otherwise I wouldn't have probably noticed it either. So I just noticed it with this kind of the last play that we did.
All right. Well,
surprised that didn't bump it down to an 8.
Next.
That is nitpicking.
Do
we have to do the next yet? I still have more to say.
Let's move on, boys.
We will get to the second P in 10 minutes.
Nope.
We're going to preference. So yeah, this is a 10 to me. It's one of my top games, possibly my top game. You go check it out. Check out our ranking of the Stonemaier games of all time. And yeah, I picked this one over a lot of games if I was picking one on the shelf. And if I was introducing someone that had played some other games to a game, I would totally introduce them to this one. But I think up front I would tell them that there are things that can feel very swingy, and to just be aware of those ahead of time, or see what their thoughts are on that before I play it with them, just in case if they're like, oh no, I don't know that I'd like if I lost by 200 points, because that is very possible in this game. So if they're not going to be fine with that, I wouldn't probably force them to play a hour to 2 hour game and then smash them by 200 points. But I'd probably try something different or something if I was playing against someone that was brand new to the game anyway. But
I feel like you guys are super. Well, you are. I don't know, Jesse.
He might.
But I feel like you're super conscientious of new gamers, and like trying to make sure that they have a decent experience with games too. So.
Well, I mean, it's one of my top games of all time. I would prefer that they enjoy the experience and want to come back to it versus being like, I'm good.
Dystopia card.
Well, that goes out the window, though, when they play people they know and love, like me. So my preference is an 8, and I knocked it down 2 points. I know, shocking, because there's 2 very specific things that keep me from wanting to play this game frequently.
One's over here, one's over here. To my left and my right.
Well,
those are the 2 things.
I set you up for that, but that is not what I meant. So the first thing I think is just that it can be a very long game. And I think that as we've gotten better at it, it's only gotten longer. And I think that's great for you guys to really enjoy the game. And, this is like the thing you love and it works with your brain. And I totally 100% understand and support. That's great. But for someone who maybe isn't great at efficiency puzzles, when you're done with a game, you're done. There's nothing more you can do, and they haven't even started the last round for themselves. It's really frustrating, I think, to be like, okay, well, let me know when you're done, and we'll come see your final scoring. I mean, I've had it be half an hour, after the fact that you guys were finally done. And so I could sit there at the table and just watch you do it, or, I don't know, go do some dishes or drown my sorrows. There are many things. So length of time. And the secondary one is just, you guys are so professionally, graded level at this that it's hard for someone who's not an efficiency player to come in and play this, because I just know there's nothing I can do unless I'm given every amazing luck and chance item that could possibly happen that I probably do not stand a chance. And so coming to the table for this game now means that I most likely am walking away with 100+ losing points between what you guys score. And so I think it's just a little hard on the ego sometimes to sit here for 2 hours and know that I'm not even going to come close to a W. So I think those are just 2 things that make it hard, because it is in your wheelhouse and there's nothing you can do about that. It's just what it is. So overall, though, I think the game, as you have heard, my ratings are very high of this game. So regardless of all of those things, I think this is a really solid and great game, and I do enjoy playing it from time to time.
Yeah. I guess now that it changed your ranking any, but do you at least then like that they added that little extra piece in there where if you're the first one of you and your neighbors done with an era, you get 1 resource, 2 resources, or 3 extra?
Well, I feel like they had to add that in there because otherwise I would not stand a chance.
And then now, sometimes, we take advantage of that.
Yep. And now you're like, you know what, I'm just going to take it. And then I'm like, well, no, I'm definitely in trouble because they already have 85 resources coming their way, and I get 4 because I didn't efficiently manage my tracks. But it's a learning experience, and I think there are other games in like the Stonemaier game repertoire that are similar to this, like Psy, but it speaks to the game that it can be kind of defeating for someone like me, but you still want to play it because of what the game is, and I think the experience of playing it is fun enough to hold me over most of the time. I might be a little angry at the end, but I'll play it again, and I'll still do a CHIPPI that is a good review. Recently.
Awesome. Yeah, I have it at a 10. No surprise there. Like she said, I'm fantastic at the game, and I love it.
He's not even lying. I wish I could say he was just being arrogant, but
I'm all right.
But he is not.
And high-scoring games, too. That's always fun. In the hundreds.
That is a fun part about Tapestry.
Super fun.
Trying to get that next threshold of 100 points.
We thought we did once, but we were playing something wrong with the expansion.
Yes.
I forget, was that like 600s?
Yeah, something crazy like that. But yeah, we were playing with the arts and architecture, and yeah, it was we weren't quite playing it, and we weren't. Pretty significant roll, which would have changed the whole outcome of the game. 300-point difference.
Do you guys know who holds the high score in our groupings?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it you or Zachary or Jesse?
I know I had it at one point, and then I don't know if it's been beaten without the arts and architecture. So it's all. Who knows what it is? I'll take the high score, I guess.
I think there's someone in Tapestry Facebook group that I think they track some of it on BGA. There's this one guy I think that's played it I don't know how many times, hundreds of times, probably thousands of times. I think he almost had 600, and that's without the.
I'd like to meet this man,
if it's
invite him over for supper, and have him beat your butts.
I'm sure he would. I think he knows a lot about Tapestry, and I think Jamie's kind of talked to him. Probably he's kind of went to him on some of the. They're doing some adjustments for some of the civilizations, so I'm guessing he's probably gotten some of his input on what things feel off or how you could change something to make it better. So I hope that's the case anyway, because obviously if someone's played it that much, they really love the game, and I think they'll have a good eye and about what actually makes sense and doesn't all of a sudden make something too powerful or throw off the balance of something else. Yeah. So, yeah. But, so we had 10. It Factor. I give this one a 10, mainly because our box has a little dent in the corner, and it just had it from the very beginning. Came that way, and at first I was so disappointed, but now that it's become my favorite game, it's like, that just gives it a little character.
It does.
But I'm a little worried because it sounds like they might not be, because I think they're going to be at least one more expansion, and it sounds like Jamie might be doing it in nothing confirmed or anything, but it sounds like he might be doing an insert for the original box, and I'm just like, with all the content so far, I mean, that insert's going to have to be just about perfect, and I'm like, is that little dent in the corner going to throw things off, and it's not going to fit in there right?
Things that keep you up at night.
It keeps me up at night thinking about that. But no, everything about the game I just really, really enjoy. So
so it's a 10 for you, but like you said, it's a Euro game, so does it do something different for you that other Euro games
like, no,
don't?
it's only the dent in the corner.
It's the dent in the corner.
No, I mean to give it the high rating.
I don't know that we have too many games that are just going up kind of different tracks and then have such significant. And they're not, I wouldn't say they're significant. So many options of different variable player powers that still don't make the game difficult for you to teach or learn. I guess you could look at a game like Root, where you do have those different player powers, but that in itself you almost have to do a teach for every single person's character. I like how this one, you can pretty much, even if someone doesn't maybe understand all the civilizations, you can get them. There's enough of the, I wouldn't say necessarily easy, but like easy to understand ones that you could give them then that will make sense even if they're playing it for the first time. So I like that it has all that variability that is still very approachable and doesn't all of a sudden make it like, okay, now I've got to totally learn this new character. And it's probably like a too many bones too if you're learning those characters. It's going to be different. Or we haven't actually played it yet, but your brother's game of Dune, I feel like it'd be something like that where you have
out
to
all the games. Terraforming Mars, Too Many Bones.
But I really like how this one does. I really like that in this one. That makes it different.
All right. I was just interested because, I mean, I think between the three of us, there's variability in what we enjoy in a game. So, and I know you kind of are more of like the Euro-y, guy. So just curious. But
and compared to some of the other ones, I feel like that, so to say, overproduction of it, I think that just makes it pop even more for me.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 because I do feel like this game is just different than basically a lot of games. Like, it's just when it's refreshing, I think, to just have so much replayability in it, between the civilizations and everything that you kind of touched on already. This is a very long video. So I think that it is just a wonder, I think, of a game. Like, it's just so different than anything we have while also still being the same. And like you said, very teachable, very approachable still. And I think that mix is just not frequent in games that we play because I struggle in learning games. I think in this one, I just remember, like, I could even teach this one because it's so simple. The concepts anyway, it's just, so yeah, great.
Yeah, I have an 8.25, which is a very high it factor for me. And that production, all the civilizations, like you said, still very streamlined and easy to grasp for us, which actually might knock it a little bit just because it is simple to play. But yeah, and then just also kind of what it's become for us has kind of raised it up a little bit. It's a superstar.
I love how much
the
you
main
guys
event.
love it.
The main event game. Main event Jey Uso.
Wow.
But yeah, that is our long CHIPPI review.
Did we do the overall?
Oh, the overalls.
Wow, the most important part.
Well, I figured they knew mine.
Yeah,
It was a 10.
9.1.
I have a 9.56.
Okay.
So all 9s and higher.
Yeah, so pretty solid game.
Quite the endorsement.
That is the endorsement of Tapestry. But yeah, I just wish more people loved it even more and it could make the Board Game Geek Top 100. But I don't think it will.
Hey, more people need to watch our Tap Talk series.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. It's free. Plug.
But yeah, that is our CHIPPI of Tapestry. Yeah, maybe we'll have to come back and do this one again. No. It's a very long video.
Thanks for sticking around if you're still here.
Yes, if you're still here, tell us your favorite civilization down below.
Ooh.
Whether it be in Tapestry or in history. Well, we hope to see you on the next video, and as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.